Fear is a distressing negative sensation induced by a perceived threat. It's something we've all experienced at some point, and even grown out of or faced. But why does it have such a hold over us? All we really know is the word and the feeling it gives. But what about the actual mindset behind it? In this short documentary, we'll try to unravel some of the secrets of fear. We decided to do this documentary as fear is something the public like to avoid. No one knows much about it, just that it is a strong feeling. We asked some of the public what their fears were to get a broad idea of what we are facing.
We have a fear of death just because you don't really know how it's going to happen, you don't know when it's going to be, and you kind of have to live every day by day, you know. So enjoy life as it is.
I was always afraid of heights, but when I was younger, I fell from a window in my house, but I fell onto bushes, but I've just always been afraid since then.
After getting some feedback from the public, we then decided to get a professional opinion. We got in contact with Aidan Carthy from the Department of Humanities in IT Blanchardstown, who gave us a great insight into the psychology behind fear.
I would define fear as a response to a perceived threat. If you're being threatened in any situation, if you could imagine your house burning down, someone coming at you with a knife in a dark alley, it's an appropriate response to have. A lot of the time, fear per se is a rational and understandable and normal experience to have. So a psychologist would distinguish between fear and perhaps something like a phobia, which would be an irrational fear. So a feeling of fear where there is no threat. If you imagine all the common phobias that people know about, something like agoraphobia, for example, a fear of open spaces, that could limit someone's activities. It could mean that you're going to remain, in your own home, or not want to leave your own home for unless you have a very important reason to do so. A phobia could be extremely limiting. People will go to great lengths to avoid an object that they have an association of fear with.
After talking to Aidan, we asked some people if they would be interested in helping us with our documentary. We had a broad idea of people's fear, but we needed to narrow it down and examine. After a few weeks, we found 3 volunteers willing to open up about their fears and help us put fear under the scope.
I know it's really, really strange and completely irrational, but I am literally terrified of sharks. And there's no explanation for it because I'm nowhere near them at any point in my life, but they literally, they terrify me.
I'm afraid of heights. Petrified of heights. Not afraid of them, I'm petrified of them. They just make me, I just don't like them. I'm afraid I'm just going to fall or something going to break.
My fear is zombies, mostly zombie movies, because I know they're not real, because it's really, they're not real, so it is sort of an irrational fear. I know, I can never be killed by a zombie or anything like that, but it's they freak me out.
My earliest memory, I was down in Roscommon with all my family, and we went on a day trip to Galway, and we were like, alright, we bought wetsuits and all, we went out, and I was only I think it was about 12, and I was like, oh grand, we go swimming and all. So we went to these big cliffs that day now, and they were like, oh lovely, there's a diving board and that'll be brilliant. I was like, alright, okay then. I was like, okay, we'll do that. So we got in our wetsuits and all, and it was warm, and we were there, and we were like, alright, and I walked over to the edge, and I was like, oh, I'm not jumping off that. And my cousin, he's mad, and he was like, oh, just do it. I was like, no, I really don't want to do it, I'm not doing it, So he just picked me up and threw me, and it was, really, really high, really high, and I crapped myself, it wasn't even funny. I actually nearly died, I started panicking, I had a panic attack in the water, and they had to take me out, nearly fainted and all, and ever since then, I've just been absolutely petrified, absolutely.
I don't really know. When I was younger, I used to always watch scary films, and I watched the Jaws films when I was younger, and a lot of my older cousins and all would always sit down and make you watch them, just evil. And I don't know what it was. I just literally would just start screaming and just go ballistic. And even now, I can't watch them. If I even try and watch those films, I tried to watch them a couple of weeks ago. I was curled up underneath the bed, and I would just start screaming every time I seen the shark's face. That my mum actually came down and was just knock it off, you're not watching this, anytime there's anything to do with sharks at all.
When I was younger, I used to be a lot afraid of the typical things, a lot of my friends could watch vampire movies and werewolves and stuff. Couldn't watch that. ghosts. It was not, and zombies didn't really come into effect because I didn't really know them, right? But I was like younger, like it was at one point my dad just came into me at one point because I couldn't sleep and he was going, are they real? Are they actually real? He had this just a blatant discussion with me when I was really young and I just went, no. So what are you scared of? Nothing. But then zombies came along later. And I don't think I had that realization, like, I know they're not real. Like, it's just also the thing of, you know how they're a chemical thing? So that it's sort of like and the nuclear, it's become quite nuclear these days.
We wondered if fear affects us in our environment and our interactions within it. We consulted Aidan on this to see what exactly fear can do.
But the manner in which that's going to express itself is going to be determined by the environment that you're exposed to. So if you live in a country, let's say, where poisonous snakes are common, you might develop a phobia of snakes. If you live in a culture where a different fear is prevalent, you might develop another different phobia in that culture. So it's to a large extent, phobias can be culture bound.
No, I don't know. I just get really I feel like everything's just gonna break. I'm just gonna fall, and then I feel like I just want to sit on the floor so I'm just don't move and I just get really anxious, sweaty and horrible. Everything I don't know. Even when I'm walking, even in college, when we're on the first floor, I don't mind but then if we have to go any higher than the first floor, I'm like, oh god. But I just pretend I'm grand and I don't say that but I'm walking up and I'm looking down and I'm like, oh god. But even when I go away on holidays now and we go to water parks now, I can't go on anything because they're all too high. I can't even walk up the steps to it. I walk up halfway and then I have to go back down. So I can't even enjoy myself doing little things like that, horrible. And everyone flags me over.
If it's just no zombies whatsoever, I'm quite tense. Even the thought of zombies makes me tense. I'm tense because I know it's going to happen soon. So it's and then when I do see them, it is just look at the face of death. Just freaks me out. I can't look at the face of them. I have to turn away from the screen. I can't look at it. It just frightens me. I can't look at photos of people dressing up as zombies on Facebook or anything like that. Or if anyone was a zombie, I'd just be getting away from me. I've told friends. A friend of mine, he's here in college, he has a thing about a zombie apocalypse. He's one of those guys. I told him I don't like zombies. He likes to directly in my face. For the joke, he'll just randomly look up a picture of a zombie and shove it in my face because he knows it'll freak me out, for the fun of it. I know obviously not upset, but I hate it, people just use it against me.
Oh my god, I literally I started this with my hands and I have no idea why. Just get them away from me and my throat starts closing up and I start wanting to cry. I literally just would shake and I don't even know, I can't even describe it. It's just they're near me and I was trying to get rid of them. I don't. I would think it wouldn't because it's so strange, there's no sharks anywhere near me, but it's the whole even thought of being in the water, I can't even be in a pool or the sea or the actual thought of the sea, it just freaks me out because it could be just in there, you just don't know. The amount of people who just get eaten by sharks because they just don't see them. They just come up underneath them, eaten, gone. So I've never learned to swim. The thought of getting in a swimming pool, even a swimming pool, obviously there's no sharks in a swimming pool. You think they know, but still won't do it. Still can't do it.
Fear affects us in many ways, whether it's socially or professionally. We know that this is due to negative thoughts that we attach to the objects of our fear. This is known as cognitive thinking and is studied by psychologists all over the world.
Treatment options for phobias will depend on the specific phobia and also the level at which the phobia is disabling for the individual that's being treated. One of the most common ways of treating a phobia would be what psychologists refer to as systematic desensitization. So what we do is we systematically, i.e. step by step, desensitize you to the object that you're fearing. What usually happens is that you're associating a negative feeling with a benign object. So if you have a fear of dogs, for example, dogs in and of themselves don't pose a threat, but what you'll have done is associated a fear of panic with the sight of a dog. So what we need to do is break that association.
Do you know when you have a fight with someone and they work you up to a point where you just want to hit them. Like, and you're just like, right, I'm not going to do that. And you're like, I'll forget about that. But then when you're there and you're trying to conquer your fear and you're standing like on the top of this huge building, that feeling just overwhelms you. And you're just like, you just want to hit them. Like, they're there talking to you, like, shut up. And like, you just get all them feelings back that you feel from other negative stuff. And it all just piles up and you just let it all out, like.
But some people have different levels of anxiety depending on the fear they are presented with.
I'm completely different with the rest of my fears because, like, I used to be sort of afraid of spiders, but I'm not as afraid now. Like, I used to be a bit scared of heights. I conquered that fear in 6th year when I went to Carlingford and I had to walk across the big tall pole. Like, you know, I had to do that. Like, I wouldn't have done that in my life, but like, roller coasters, I couldn't do roller coasters. Did that when I was in 5th year, and I because I went over to Disneyland Orlando and I just went, I wouldn't be allowed to go on it. It's sort of, I have to put it in my head, I wouldn't be allowed to go on it. Like, they wouldn't have this ride up and running if it wasn't safe. So like, there's no reason why I shouldn't go on it. Like, you know, that's the sort of logical reasoning behind it. Like, it's up and running. They take good care of it and it's safe. So I shouldn't be scared. Yes, I'm dangling from this, but I won't fall out. Like, you know.
Throughout our study, we have found that no one has ever reached a level where fear does not exist. Fear will change and develop itself into something new as we grow and face new situations.
I don't see all fears as being irrational. I think fear in and of itself is a very rational and a very necessary response. If we never felt any fear, we wouldn't avoid danger. We wouldn't be motivated to avoid danger. So fear in and of itself is actually a good thing. It's a positive thing. It's adaptive. It helps us to function better in the world. But a phobia is an irrational thing, and that is something that might need psychological treatment.
Well, I think it was when I was about 4 or 5, when I started, like, my dad started turning on the light and closing my door and all, and I was like, oh, don't do that. I don't, like, just leave the door open and I'm grand. And then it was grand. And then when I got a bit older, I was like, I can't be afraid of the dark anymore. I was like, everyone's going to laugh at you. So I was like, right, I'm not afraid of the dark anymore. And told myself I wasn't afraid of the dark. And then the heights just kind of came after that.
Even though it started off just as a fear of sharks, it's actually now moved into like a fear of water. Like, I just won't go near pools or swimming pools. Like, the actual thought of being in water freaks me out just because of the starting off as fear of sharks.
It was like being afraid of dark, it's stupid. Like, people be like, why are you afraid of dark? There's nothing here, like, it's just us. Or you're on your own, like, you're grand. But like, being afraid of heights is like, literally you could die. Like, if you fell, you could die. And like, obviously you're not going to die just because it's dark. But if you're like up something really, really high, like, and it breaks and you fall, that's it. You're dead. Like, so I kind of went from being afraid of that to being afraid of something stupid, but for the same reason as being afraid of something that is like really dangerous.
Fear never leaves us. It just moves on to different things in our life which we cannot explain. It is only with our ability to understand our fear that we can move on from it or even remove its hold on us. How you can do this is up to you.
Have you ever tried to conquer your fear?
Oh god, no.
No, I've tried. I tried loads of times. Like, I've tried, like, oh, I'll go here, I'll go there, but I just can't do it.
Yes, I've tried watching zombie movies before. I've tried, like, with other fears, I've tried to conquer them before. I always try to at least once, but it just, and I'll be there for a while, but it's just a surprise of them popping out, and then, no, I have to turn away. They just scare the shit out of me.